YouTube? It's Scorpion6 back again with another video. Now I know the past 4 or 5 days I haven't dropped any content, and to be completely honest with you, it's because I don't have a rhythm when it comes to recording, editing, and uploading the videos. So that's what I owe everybody. I just owe them a little bit more predictability, and I want to try to set up a rhythm where I can fit YouTube into my busy schedule. As far as the channel goes, I'm really happy with it so far. I have 130 subscribers, so thank you everyone that has hit the subscribe button. I've got a lot of feedback and comments as well, so that's going to help me better the channel. As far as today's content, I've been getting a lot of requests. Hey, Scorp, can you check out my account? Hey, what do you think with this setup? And all that good stuff. I just want to show you a few areas that I actually look at when assessing accounts in order to give back proper feedback. Bear with me, again, this is me looking at a normal T2, T4 trap. This isn't including health traps and some hero-less traps out there. So these are some of the areas that I look at when I look at an account. I'm going to be using my cell phone here to go through the account. Now, as you can see with my account, it's a little large, and it's because the other day I completed about 400 or so endless infernos in order to grab 2 of those ticket events that were going on. So any resources or speeds by doing so. So I'm a little heavy on the T4 troops. I do plan on dismissing them, and that's going to come in another video. But let's jump into the first area I look at when I look at an account, and it's going to be the hero. First things I go for, I just try to make sure that they have the proper gear on as far as defense gear comes. It's hard for me to judge stats if they're not in the right gear. So I look at the gear, I make sure that they're in proper defense gear. I like the Frost, the Imp, and the Kuna setup, at least double Kuna nowadays, if not triple. So I just go ahead and look and make sure they have that. Then I check to see if they have the gear boosted through their workshop. The pieces that I'm concerned with is more the Frost pieces. The Imp pieces, they are just health when they get boosted, so they're not as quite as important for a regular T2, T4 trap. After assessing the actual gear itself, I look at the gems that are within the gear, and if they have attack debuff gems or health gems, I'll just go ahead and quickly switch those out if I can. If I can't, I'll assess more of their gems just to make sure if they have better gems I could sub in or not. So yeah, and then I look at their presets. Usually I can find other better gems within other presets, so sometimes I'll just switch them out real quick just so I can get a accurate snapshot of stats when I look at the stats. But yeah, I look at the presets. It just gives me an understanding of where this guy's at or where this account is at as far as a setup goes. After I look at that, I'm going to jump into hero skilling. This is a huge role. Like, you can have the right gear on, you can have the right gems, you can have the right buildings, but if your hero is not skilled properly, it's gonna tank real quickly. So yeah, so I've seen a few accounts now where they started skilling from the top down. So they front load all their points in the top, and then when they get down to the bottom of their Hero 64 hero tree, they don't have any skill points in the defense spot down there. So this is something I just skim through. I make sure that they have defense 1, defense 2, and defense 3 all skilled, and then from there I go and look at some of the debuffs and some of the other areas that they could utilize some of their skill points more wisely in. I don't change any of this. I just take note of it and just give them the feedback when it comes to their hero skills. Now, once I'm done with that, that's completed the hero portion of this. Then I jump into the VIP section. If they're not VIP 26, I just look at where they're at. So if they're at VIP 23, I just look at how much VIP they have banked, if any. If they have a ton of VIP banked, I just go ahead and strongly recommend that they push it as far as they can go. If they can go to VIP 26, go for it. Rally leaders no longer care if a trap has VIP 26. They understand at this point in the game MZ has dropped so much VIP that even non-spenders can have a pretty high VIP level without spending. So after looking at the VIP, I then go into the stronghold, and then I go into the boost manager. This is going to give me a clear snapshot of each building in their setup, as well as how they orbed those buildings. So yeah, I just skim down and I make sure that they're properly orbed and they're at a proper construction level. Now I'll just click on one orb section, and it's going to show me how many time orbs that they have left. If they have a lot banked, again, I just recommend that they go through, they take some time and they grind out some orbing and get those things as high as possible. I really recommend 10 or greater when it comes to orb and barracks, so 10% or greater in every barracks. I also recommend that an account at least has 25 barracks or so. I know this isn't going to happen on all accounts. Some people don't like breaking down buildings to rebuild others. I don't mind it. I've banked a lot of speeds and stuff, so it really doesn't hurt me when I have to tear down a building. After we look at the construction and some of that things, another few spots I look for orbs at is going to be the embassy. I make sure that it's above 40 or more. That's really the average when it comes to the embassy. Pretty much no matter what level you're at, as long as you're not at like embassy 21 or so, you should be able to squeeze out 40% there. And the same thing goes for the walls, at least 40% there to a combined 80. After that, I check out their altar, and just to make sure that they're utilizing their altar, if it's active or inactive, that usually gives between like 80% I think to 125 or so. I'm altar 22 and I have 125%. I currently don't have it active, and I currently don't use the graveyard at all. But players that are asking me to check out their accounts, I'm definitely going to recommend that they alter a few, chop a few heroes and get the altar working in order to utilize that defense. But yeah, and then after I look at through all that, I actually go down into items. Not to be nosy, but I look at their items and then I go into speeds. And this is just giving me a better picture of if they're a spender or non-spender. I just don't want to give them unrealistic feedback if they're a non-spender. So again, I just go check out some of their speeds. I'll suggest, hey, you have a lot of speeds banked, utilize it towards this before you utilize it towards this. And then same thing with resources. If they don't have their resources all unlocked, I'll just go into there and see how much resources they have available to fund their account essentially. So yeah, after that, I just dive into the power, and then I go into boost. I'm not concerned with the economic boost. I then jump into troop boost. This one is more for individual attack, individual defense, of course. So a few setups this applies to. I'm really concerned when it comes to the overall troop boost. This is where I'm going to look at the troop attack bonus. If it's higher than around 2,400 or so now, as well as the defense. This is where I'm just trying to get the defense as high as possible for them and give them enough feedback in order for them to get the defense as high as possible. After that, I just make sure that their DDR is all research, so they should have 80% in DDR if they have double Kuna, 110 if they have 3. So that's what I look for when it comes to DDR, just to make sure that they have that research. There has been a few accounts where I'm like, hey, you need to go back and do some research when it comes to your Kunas. You're going to want that. Enemy troop debuffs or overall enemy troop debuffs. I don't put a lot of stock into it, but it's definitely needed and I look into it. So, but yeah, I just, make sure that they have a pretty good setup there when it comes to the troop debuffs. Those are the few areas that I look at when either I look at a person's account or I request screenshots. Those are some of the areas that I'm going to look at first. It just gives me a proper assessment, an overall assessment of the account and where we can squeeze out some defense or make some changes to make the account greater. So yeah, that's what I do. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please like and please smash the subscribe button for me if you haven't. I really appreciate all the feedback thus far and looking forward to making more videos. Until fucking later, YouTube.